Hello students, welcome to online classes of Shemstar Global School. This is Nabila Fatima. In the previous video, we had started a chapter from history, the expansion of British power in India, and this video is part 9 of the chapter. In the previous video, we had studied that British were able to set their empire in India. Now, the biggest challenge for them is to administer our country. Earlier, the country was divided into various kingdoms and it was ruled by different kings. All the kings had their own way of ruling in their kingdoms. They had different rules, different policies, and different strategies. But when British got the control of India, it became necessary for them to have an efficient administration system. Administration of the empire. First is the Regulating Act of 1773. Regulating Act was passed by the British Parliament in 1773 and it gave EEIC more administrative control. The company was allowed to act on behalf of British Crown in India. The Governor General of Bengal became the Governor General of India. Next is the Charter Act of 1813. In the previous videos, we had discussed that Queen Elizabeth issued the Charter Act in 1600. That charter gave the EEIC a monopoly to trade with India. And EEIC was only British trader in India. But again, the Charter Act was renewed in 1813. According to this charter, it ended the company's monopoly of trade with India. Thus, trade in India was open to all Englishmen. Territorial divisions. Territories were divided into provinces and these provinces were further divided into districts. Bengal, Madras and Bombay were called presidencies. These presidencies were the main administrative centers of the British rule in India. The presidencies were looked after by the Governor General. And the overall head of the country was Governor General. Districts were looked after by the collector and the task of collector was first is revenue collection and second overall administration of the district. Few Indians could become civil servants and there are many reasons for it. Number first was the examination was held in London. The examination of civil service was held in London and very few Indians could afford the travel cost. The medium of examination was English. So again it was difficult for Indians to give examination in English medium because very few Indians know English at that time. Next was military administration. The British set a large army in India. Now the question arises that why did the British need a large army in India? The answer is, first is conquer more territories. They needed a large army to conquer more territories because they uses the strategy of war to capture as many territories as possible. Second was to protect their territories from rivals. Not only annexation of territories was important to them, but British also protect their territories from the rivals. Rivals could be French or the other European powers that were there in India at that point of time. Next one, to protect the trading interest of the company. They also want to protect the trading interest of the company because they did not want any kind of competition and also to suppress the internal revolts. Next is the police. Lord Cornwallis modernized the police force in 1791. The Governor General Lord Cornwallis is again credited to have established a regular police force in India. The district was looked after by a thana under a daroga and a superintendent of police who was the head of the district. Now each district was placed under a thana which was headed by a daroga. Kotwals and chowkidars were also appointed in towns and villages. The district superintendent supervised the administration of police in entire district. Last one was the judicial administration. Warren Hastings and Lord Cornwallis institute a proper judicial system. Previously, justice in the country was given according to religious traditions, that is, Hindu rulers gave justice according to Hindu tradition and Muslim rulers used to give justice according to Muslim traditions. There were no uniformity of laws. However, with the passage of time, it became difficult to deliver justice according to the religious traditions. Thus, proper judicial system was set up in India. Lord Cornwallis and Warren Hastings set a proper judicial system in our country. Rule of law was established. It means that administration would be based on law rather than the wishes of the ruler. Equality before law was also introduced. Equality of law was introduced throughout the country. This meant that all the people were equal before the law, regardless of caste, class, or gender. Hierarchy of courts was established. Afterwards, a hierarchy of court was established. Supreme Court was at the top of the judicial structure. It was followed by High Court, which was there at Calcutta, Madras, and Bombay. At the lowest level were the subordinate courts. With this, we came to the end of the chapter. Now, you are requested to watch all the videos of this chapter properly, and if you have any problem in any topic, then please ask from me by putting your questions in the comment section. Now students, you are requested to do all these exercises in your rough copy. And this is your today's assignment. Pause the video, read the exercises carefully and then do it. Tomorrow I will provide the answers of these exercises in Google Classroom.